Hello everybody, I'm Louise Winchester, the spiritual business mentor and founder of Sacred Space, and this is Helen Dunn, the
Hi.
salon mentor, and today we're going to be talking about the heart chakra resonance being the doorway to the Camelot Tolemac realms that Stuart Wilde spoke of in the mirror world. And Helen, if you could just let me know if we are actually live.
Yes, both live on Sacred Space and live on the Global, which
Right.
is good. Yay.
And can you tell me where the pop-ups are coming up?
Um, they've just come up on my notifications, so
There's
in
nothing on the screen. Okay.
okay.
All right.
I'll
Well,
join a type just a sec. See if that comes up.
yeah.
Got it? I
Okay.
can't I can't see anything on my screen, but that's okay.
Maybe you can have a quick look on your mobile in a moment.
There's 5 watching on
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Louise Winchester, the spiritual business mentor and the founder of Sacred Space, and this is Helen Dunn, the salon mentor. And today we're going to be talking about the heart chakras resonance and accessing the mirror world and the Camelot Tolemac realms that Stuart Wilde spoke of to me many, many years ago, 13 years ago, and my recent experiences with those realms and how I accessed them, and also talking about the celestial door, and which is coming up more and more, and the whole point of what's happening in my energy field and how that relates to you guys out there. And I would love to hear from you as to where you're up to and what's happening for you right now. So somebody's on the call. It's not telling me who it is, but I can see there's some people that are watching right now. Say hello. Tell us who you are in the comment, please, and where you're from. Thank you. Helen, could you just bring down your screen a little bit?
hang on. Oh, yeah.
That's
Is
it.
that better?
Yep. Thank you. Okay.
Aroa, sorry, Aroa Blake is on. Hi there, thanks. That's what she says.
Okay. All right. So, over the last week, I've been working extensively in my heart chakra to try to feel new levels of joy and connection to the earth, because we're all transiting through such dense energies in the earth plane. And as I've said in some of my other lives, it's really important to be aware of what's happening out there, and discerning what you are to get involved in and what you are to hold back from, and how to navigate exactly what it is that when something impacts your energy field from watching something online, or some of these videos are getting really difficult for people who are empaths and psychics to actually see and witness, because it's like the thought form energy transfers into your energy field, and then you have to clear the energy. So it's quite intense for psychic or spiritually aware individuals to actually cope with watching these videos, because it's like when I first took my spiritual initiations, and I used to go to the shopping mall. You go to the shopping mall for 1 hour and you'd spend 4 hours cleaning your energy. So it is important to use discernment about what's relevant for you to be dialing into, and what
Yeah.
you need to sort of be educated in but stay out of. And so, coming back to my own personal experiences, one of my old teachers, I'll just talk about Stuart Wilde for a little bit first. Stuart Wilde is called the grandfather of metaphysics. He was in his day between the 80s and when he passed in 2013. He was a brilliant writer, really good at pulling apart reality, and he was very much a bit of a wizard, I suppose is the right word for him. And his writings and his books were profound and cutting edge in their day. And he spoke of fringe dwellers being people who sort of we're on the edge of society, and I always had this inbuilt in me. When I was very young, I always used to actually observe the people in my environment and stay on the edges of the groups and then wait for somebody to fall off the perch and then help and support them whilst they got themselves together and healed from their wounds and then went back into the group. So I always sort of was on the edge of reality, sort of observing reality rather than buying into it. And we're at a pivotal point right now with our energy where we have to move ourselves into observation and discernment around what it is that we get involved in and what we don't. And I had a great conversation with a friend of mine who has been through my program, Quantum Leap, yesterday, where he said that it's a case of going into a bookshop and, there's all sorts of books in there, but which book, do you want to be reading, and what book do you want to be absorbing and aligning your energy with? And so if it's really important for us to actually keep our frequency high and our light levels high, then how much of what we're observing do we really want to be sucking in through our energy field right now? So, we all need people that are raising the lid on different aspects of this, but it's a case of discernment as to what your resonance really is passionate about serving. And if stuff is impacting you, then pull yourself back from it, because you're not necessarily supposed to be involved in that. And I think that in this day and age, we're all getting a little bit overwhelmed, and we're all getting a little bit confused about our direction, and we're in a space where we don't know which way to turn because there's so much chaos going on. Okay. Just had a little note come up from Penelope. Hello, Penelope. She's out at the Emu Plains. Hello, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stuart Wilde, he was a very profound teacher. I spent a lot of years hanging out with him in something called, I actually went and visited him many times, but I joined a group of his called the Redeemers Club. And in this club, it was all about actually moving your energy into a place of divinity and connection with the magical realms. Okay, and I've written a couple of blogs this week that were quite intense energies to come through. And in there, in the second one, it's called The Shining Celestial Door and the Camelot Tolemac Realms of the Mirror World. In there, I actually give some advice about how to align yourself with what I call the celestial door, which is the exit out of this world, but where we can still come back to this world. So it's like the ultimate experience to go into heaven and come back, and learning how to work in connecting with that inner door and what you need to do and how you need to align yourself with that. So I've actually written out about 11 points, which it gives you an idea of how to actually spend time aligning. Every single day you align yourself bit by bit by bit by bit, more and more, into trying to gain the access to the celestial realms. So I'm just going to say, here's Tom. Hi Tom, how are you going? I'm just going to say a little bit more about Stuart, because there is some controversial stuff out there. Stuart, at the end of his life, probably from about this period where I found out about the mirror world and the celestial door, and the Tolemac Camelot realms, he started to lose the plot a little bit, and then he went right off the deep end. And he did that because he started doing ayahuasca ceremonies, and he was doing too many of them. So I personally am not an advocate for doing ayahuasca ceremonies. I think if you've got a major illness, finding somewhere that is a place in the Amazon where they actually treat medical conditions with aya is a good place to be. But from my experience of those sorts of things, you're actually connecting with an entity that is connected to the plant, and having experiences around that. And some people would agree with me and some people would disagree with me, and your own opinion is fine. But I've always believed that it's better and easier to actually go through the purification and gradual upgrade of your energy field um, with
Take to.
inner meditation and connection as a gradual process rather than a full-on experience that blows your marbles in and makes a mess of your life, because sometimes that happens, and that can happen just by even working in meditation yourself. The intensity of what we experience can be huge, like it is for me right now. Like, I couldn't possibly be back in the store right now because the inner stuff is so full on and intense, and the physical is struggling to, you know, um, integrate the upgrades, I suppose is the right word for it. So I don't know if anybody's feeling like pretty exhausted at the moment, physically depleted. I know Helen is. I know my partner is. I know that every single day is like, when you wake up, it's a bloody struggle to actually get up, because you
Yeah.
need to be in the cave. We actually need time out. And I said to Helen earlier, just before we got on the call, in some ways the COVID stuff has been a blessing, because some of us light workers that are in the older generation, we're physically depleted to the point where all our light's gone out, and we're trying to reclaim our own inner light on a new level where we can receive the energy at a whole new frequency, and our bodies are trying to integrate that. I'm not quite sure who this is, but hello, whoever that is.
There's Tom. So, and then Robin
Hello,
Innocent.
Robin. Hi, Robin.
Yeah.
Robin's a reader medium that works for me. And Alicia is here. Hello, Alicia. Beautiful soul. Okay, so that's a little bit about Stuart. I mean, he did lose the plot at the end. I always say that, but he was a really good example to me of how spiritual teachers sometimes do things that they shouldn't do, and he was a good example of don't go there. Oh dear, we have to laugh. Okay, so the other day I'm sitting in the chamber of my heart chakra doing meditation, trying to channel light, and the astral plane is completely different to the astral plane is really what I would say is the mirror worlds. It's the accessing of different dimensions. And the accessing of different dimensions is when you are literally out of this world, in another world or in another dimension, and you are in your quantum self. You are not in a dream state. It is completely different, because what you see, sense, and perceive is on a whole other level. It is not dream state. So what actually happened was I sat within my heart chakra for about 2 hours, and then I moved into astral. And as I moved into astral, I flipped over inside, like not just inside my heart chakra, but almost like, when you're on one of those great big things, tilt machines that flips you around. So I flipped over and I thought, okay, I'm in the darker dimensions, which I've done an awful lot of work in over the years. And I said to myself, I'm not going to stay in here. I'm going to move my energy up to the higher dimensions. And then my energy flipped back around in the quantum. And then when it did, this entity, which was part of myself, as like an energy that I recognized, actually came to me and linked hands with me and hung on pretty tight. and it helped me to ascend. So what I did was I built my light and built my light and built my light so that I could bring my energy up to the dimension that was a celestial dimension. And then when I accessed that celestial dimension, to begin with, it's like, you know, you can't fully see everything. It takes time in that dimension for the whole picture to be unveiled to you. And as I was in that dimension, I actually looked out at where I was, the building or the structure within this dimension. And the only way I can describe it is I knew I was in a place which was Camelot. It was Camelot's energy. I had so much energy come through my heart chakra. It was a combination of feeling like I'd come home. I felt enormous joy, enormous love emanating out of my heart chakra. I was so happy to be there, and I could see the smallest detail on all of it. It had sort of turreted sections to it, and then it had all of these like wooden panels to it with different symbols like painted almost like medieval, but not, this was not a stone structure, this was a celestial structure. It had, it's like every part of it was resonating energy, which is totally different to dream state. Anyway, so to cut a long story short, years ago Stuart talked to me about the mirror worlds, and he talked about the Camelot realms, and he talks about the Camelot realms being connected to different earthly grid point locations, which I totally relate to. If you've ever been to Glastonbury or you've ever been to Sedona, you would know what it's like to go to a high intensity location where the Earth's energies are just off the chart. If you go to Glastonbury, you're going to have the tour at Glastonbury, you're going to open your heart, you're going to feel grief, you're going to feel sadness, you're going to feel love, you're going to feel all these emotions are just going to pour through your physical being, and you're sitting there looking out and you're looking at it going, you know, this is the top of the world, right? Because it's the heart chakra of the planet. And then you can go to places like over in Sedona where it's like galactic headquarters. It's absolutely unbelievable. Like the visuals that you see, it's like I always describe Sedona as like a place that's like, you know, under the ocean where you get those little mini volcanoes and they spew all the minerals out into the water. It's like the vortex is there, spew out like inspiration and creativity on a visual level. It's quite amazing. Like, and I don't know if it's connected, I don't think it's connected to the third eye chakra, but there are places around the world where these energies come forth and they're intensified. And unfortunately, a lot of our grid point locations around the world have got churches plonked on the ley lines where they're intersecting. So, you know, they are places where we're supposed to have more intensified connection with God, but we do not need someone between us and creator source energy. We have to find it for ourselves. So the
Yeah.
Camelot realms are really like these celestial etheric structures or energies where divinity and like celestial realms can come through to the earth plane, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Have you I always say waterfalls and like proper falls and like little streams is where the energy is quite high and you can sort of access these nature spirit realms yourself, but this is different to channeling energy. This is a whole other ball game because you're completely in another realm or another world. We have a Periscope person. Hi. I can't tell what your name is. Hi there. Where are you from? So, is there anything that you'd like to say about what I was just talking about with the experience, did you want to talk about how one can achieve actually trying to work towards getting there, or do you want me to go on to the celestial door?
Just well, yeah, like back to where you were talking about the energies, and even in when you wrote your first the first
Blog
blog.
post, which was called
Yeah.
"The Heart Chakra's Resonance is a Doorway to the Mirror Worlds, the Celestial Worlds of Camelot and Tolemac."
Yeah, but just sort of digressing a bit about, like getting mixed up in the earth energies, and how you can feel, being the observer and that sort of thing, and how you can feel through your emotions and that sort of thing, whether you're in the right place or the wrong place. Yeah, and just just using that as your radar of discernment to kind of like know that you've not gone, but you're just delving that little bit, or you're giving too much of your energy into that area, and just using that as your radar to pull back a little bit and just shield yourself from and then just moving forward again into what you were saying about about the ley lines and things like that.
Have you had any experiences at any of the ley line points of the earth?
Definitely. Like, it was interesting because up in Byron Bay, where Crystal Castle is, that's a really powerful ley line, and some people say that because of Crystal Castle being a tourist attraction, the energy is not there, not that, or can be a bit sort of like murky, I suppose, with the amount of people that actually come into that space for, to see it, with perhaps not, shouldn't say not the best intentions, but just with the different energies mixing around in that area. But we happened to be visiting there on it was a really rainy day, and it like torrential rain, but we just stuck it out, and it was such an amazing place. So obviously just the cleanse of the area as well. But you could really tap in, and not many people. It was just such a the air was crisp and beautiful, and you could really tap into the energy in that area. So really magic place
about that region.
I
have a theory to offer about that region. So
yeah.
The Byron Bay area, I think, has got obsidian under the ground, which is volcanic glass, which will like draw up all the shit in your energy field. Quite frankly, there's no other word for it. So what you haven't resolved, it's like you go there, it's a spiritual initiation in itself to even go and be on that land. If you're not from that area, if you're used to the area, then you've become like desensitized to it, but you would have gone through a purification process. So the obsidian in the ground is more the energy of that ley line, and it is quite heavy and intense, even though it's beautiful in the area. My take on it. Whereas there are other magical places around the planet, like Damanhar, which is in Italy, which is really an incredible place. I went to and did some gridding there years ago, and it's a small community of people that actually they dug for 16 years, they dug out the inside of a hill, and they built all these magnificent temples. It's called the Temples of Humankind inside this mountain, and they built a house in front of it. And they built, they've got loads of tree houses there, and they've got beautiful labyrinths, and they've got a massive stone circle, like not quite like a Stonehenge, because the actual spikes of stone are much, much higher. And they have their own school, and it's beautiful. It's a magnificent place. And they teach, obviously there's lots of Italians there because it's a community of 800 people, but they do teach spiritual stuff and their own wisdom there, and they have their own currency. And when the Vatican found out about it, they wanted to bomb and blow up the mountain.
Unreal. Unreal.
It's actually classified as one of the wonders of the world.
Yeah.
So if it, we have these magnificent places on earth where the frequency and the energy of the land and the ley lines and like almost open up and give you a spiritual awakening in themselves, but inside of us is also the doorway to celestial realms as well as the demonic realms, which as you know, I've had to operate in and clean out for my whole incarnation. And I'm just there's only so many times I've been into the celestial realms in different ways, and I have actually accessed celestial realms numerous times. It's just like this is the most recent experience that I've had that I really wanted to share, because it really was quite a profound experience for me. And I think even just in the knowing and the sharing of this can at some point help someone else actually find the celestial realms inside of themselves that they can access. And it is literally like being able to go to heaven and come back. And we all, as multidimensional beings, elevating our consciousness to the next level, we need to be able to access higher frequencies of light and energy, not just through channeling, but through actual quantum physical experiences. That's, where we are evolving as a species too. So.
Definitely tapping into your heart chakra for that. Because it's not outside yourself. It's in your own. It's in. We've been born
worlds that the ad world can change.
Right. We think it's out here, but it's in here, and we need to unlock that door to and open and let the light out, not in, out.
I've got a message from Penelope here. She says that she's had a bad. Oh, hang on. Why did that came on the screen and then came off the screen? Okay, so she said she had a bad experience working for Crystal Castle. She said beautiful place, and the place itself is sacred and welcoming, but the management was ruthless. Okay, so I had no idea, Penelope, you'd worked for Crystal Castle, but thank you for sharing that.
Because the story of how it was established is quite...
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story. So it's kind of sad that they've bought into the material side of the whole purpose of them even bringing it to life, isn't it, really? Because...
Well, when I first joined the spiritual industry many moons ago from an actual spiritual business perspective, I had readers and healers join me in that work, and I was always amazed at the different stories of how, what it's like for people to work in some places. And I'm sure I wasn't, at certain points I had my own trials and tribulations and wasn't perfect, but I certainly didn't have the egoic programming that some people have within their businesses, and everybody was always, equal, and we clubbed together to, hold the fort, I suppose is the right word for it. And I couldn't have done what I did without my team around me. So I think it is in the valuing of each human being that we have around us within our own team. And if you're not being valued, then your discernment is to exit out the side door.
Yeah. It's in my course the other night. We did it. The night was on money, and I thought, out of 30 plus years in business, I've never really, run by a spreadsheet, which is quite silly, really, because you should be putting it out there to the universe what you want to cut, what what you want to get back. But I've just always, it's never been about the money. It's been about the purpose and the service to others, which you mentioned you mentioned that in the second blog about being of service to others. You probably want to talk about that later, though.
That's all right. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about what I've been talking about so far? Has anybody got any magical experiences that they've had or been having? And before I go into the celestial door, I was going to answer a question that came in last week that was a little bit tricky. Where's the question gone? Let's just see if it's here. And if it's not, then I'm not supposed to be talking about it. Seems to have disappeared from my calendar. Okay. I do invite people to leave comments and ask questions of a spiritual and metaphysical nature, because it gives me pointers as to what, I had one a couple of weeks ago that literally gave me an hour and 20-minute broadcast just from one question. So please leave your questions on here if you're seeing it after the broadcast. That would be really great. Okay, celestial door. So another thing that actually happened in that experience of like flipping over and flipping around is, as I began to ascend before I hit that realm, I actually experienced the celestial door as well. And the celestial door I described in my post as being just like when you go to an optometrist and they hold up that little lens and they shine the light so bright into the back of your eyeball, like it is blinding. And the celestial door to higher dimensions is just like that. But it's almost like it's hard to describe, because it's not just a seeing it, it's a feeling it, and it's a knowing it when it kicks in. Follow what I'm saying? So it's a little bit like saying, okay, I've just had a fatal accident and the door's appeared and it's shining bright white light, and you know that now is your time to pass to the light, right? You would know in that moment that you need to go to the light, don't you? It's a little bit like that. So as you're going, if you do access in the astral, like your own quantum self, and you're like, you realize you're in astral, try to then move your energy into your heart chakra, out of your mind, and build your light. And if fear creeps in, then build your light even more, okay? Because if you move your consciousness into fear, you're going to go into the lower realms of the astral and get more than you bargained for. So try, if you're going to do this kind of work, try to actually meditate on, I'm going to the higher levels, I'm going to ascend, and I'm going to build my heart light, because you have to build your heart light in the astral sense. And then as you lift your frequency, then the door will appear to you. So, and I've seen it in many different ways and forms, like from like seeing a pinprick of light in the distance and then moving literally through space and time into that, and it opening into a completely like different realm to what we have here. So many different experiences that I've had over the years. Okay. So I also talk in this blog post, which these blogs you can either find in a variety of places, but the quickest one for me to say is go to louiseannwinchester.com and go to the blog archive, and you'll find everything in there. So I've talked about this in the Shining Celestial Door and the Camelot Tolemac realms and the mirror of the mirror world. So I'll just talk about why I've got Camelot Tolemac. So as you remember from what I was saying, I flipped over backwards, which took me into the dark dimensions before I could flip over into the light dimensions. And so it's almost like we have a swinging door inside of ourselves where we can go either way. Okay, and that's why Camelot's energy, when you hold it up to a mirror, it's going to show you it in reverse. It's going to show you it spelt the other way round, right? So it doesn't matter that it's like it's one word and then it's flipped into the other, but basically it's like everything that you're seeing, sensing, perceiving, you're looking at the mirror within, but you're accessing it. You're accessing that realm. It's like how do I explain it? It's like it's stuck to this dimension as a mirror, and you've gone through the mirror into the mirror world. Really hard to explain. I'm trying to do it in the best grounded way I can. Okay, so also in that post, I talk about how to align yourself long term with what you can do to align yourself to get there in the end, right? And so I'll just read this out because these are some points and there's a few funny bits. Gotta have a bit of humour. Okay. I've become the sum total of my inner and outer world journeys, and I have one question for you to ask yourself. How will you find the door? And here's a bit of advice from me around how you find the door. You have to work on yourself each and every day, a little bit at a time. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get there. It doesn't matter if you ever get there, and that you get there when you leave this world. Just knowing that these heavenly energies and these celestial realms exist is enough, and then working your way in your own energy towards it, whether you're going to find it or whether you're not. It's not about having it's not about whether you get there or not, because you will in the end. Okay.
Even the light beings ascending.
Sorry?
So that even the light beings are on their path of ascension as well.
That's right. This is not a dress rehearsal. Everything matters and is recorded by the eternal self. Be kind, and if you're not, look at why you manifested these projections and sort your shadow shit out if need be. So if you are tested and you project your shadow, you really need to do some work on yourself. And if you need to get help to analyze what that is because you can't get to the bottom of it, make sure you do that. So get help if you need it, and work with your tribe to support you on your quest. Be grateful for what you receive and what you have. You never know how long this party's going to be on for, right? Love fearlessly and let go of toxic people that disrespect your boundaries, no matter who they are. Get a plan together about how you're going to serve others. There are no prizes in heaven for people who are self-centered and self-absorbed. You cannot take your life with you. How many souls will you save or awaken? And what love can you bestow on those that need it? I can feel the light around me as I'm saying that. It's beautiful. Meditate as often as you can. And if you don't already know how to channel, get an attunement. Reiki is the first place to start. Become love as best as you can and help those who are suffering. Angry people are not all fuckwits. Sometimes they're just having a bad day in TikTok. Go out of your way to help people. And if you don't like people, dedicate yourself to the animals, the ocean, and the creatures of the earth. But get yourself a cause and throw everything at it. One thing is certain in life. At some point you won't be here, and you will be evolving to the next part of your eternal growth. So do your best to soften yourself and be genuinely grateful and loving. For at the end of the day, this is all that will have mattered in the long run. Don't forget to listen. Listen to your inner voice. It will help you navigate. Listen to the song of nature that she sings to you on the wind, and listen to all those around you. And when you get totally lost and disconnected by the chaos, seek wise counsel. They will help you get back to you. It's all about traveling inwards on inner journeys to help you discover who you truly are. And it's all about building a deeper meaning to your life. Every day you are continually adjusting your resonance, and each day you get a little bit closer. If you work hard at all of this, you will get there in the end.
Beautiful and true. Beautiful. Yeah.
So that's my contribution to Planet Earth this week. I've been through some other stuff. Crikey, it's coming in thick and fast. I had another experience this morning, but has anybody got any questions about everything that I've said today about the celestial realms, working on the heart chakra and meditation? Anybody got any questions? I was just going to say, for the future, if anybody is out there and interested, I am a spiritual business mentor and I help people build spiritual businesses online. And Helen is also a spiritual business founder in the salon industry, and she helps people create businesses in the salon industry, salon beauty industry. So also, if you wanted to connect with her, you can. So we are here to help everybody and anybody that needs our help. And if you have any questions at all that are metaphysical and spiritual, need any support to navigate where you're going next with your energy, if you need a psychic reading, I have a team of people that work for me that can help you on your journey. And also, I've got healers working for me. So if anybody is interested in any type of session, just message us on here and we'll get back to you. Okay, so Penelope was just saying thank you. We've still got 9 people that are here, but no questions. And
you've got Cherie Sunshine Maxwell. She said beautiful, thank you.
Cherie was in my higher self group years ago with Susan. Beautiful soul.
And Alicia Singleton. She said she was when you were talking about the energy. She's so tired right now. I'm not sure if she's still on, but she's left it there. And Robin Hinson. Yeah, I think we had, yeah. Oh, no, she must be on. She said to love, so, yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a good week. It's been really intense. Spend some time chilling out. We all need some downtime right now. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Blessings. Bye.
Well, thanks.